way of seeing things. So I think everyone's just excited to get to know Gully and see what he brings to the table, and then just it feels like first day of school every time you come back. So every year I come back here, I just feel like super lucky and grateful to be getting ready to play in the NHL again. It's pretty cool.
How about the hunger level after getting to 3 Western Conference Finals?
Yeah. I think we had a great meeting last night. Gully had a great message for all of us, and it's just, every guy, what can you do a little bit differently? So for me, I'm just looking internally, like, what do I have to do? What can I change? What can I do to, get back to that point and then to finally get over that hump?
What have your conversations been like with Gully so far? How involved does it seem like he's going to be in your game, and how much is he going to leave it up to Reeser?
Yeah, it's pretty brief, honestly. He's had a million things going on, so I don't blame him. So I'm assuming in the next few weeks, the goalie department will all sit down and get to chat with him. But just first impressions have been great. And the second he got hired, I had 20 people reach out to me like, hey, you're gonna love this guy. And what more could you want? It's pretty rare, so I'm just excited to get to work with him, and then obviously to have Reeser back and be with Case again. It's just a great goalie group.
With the compact schedule with the Olympics this year, I think a lot of discussion will be around the league about workload and managing starts and things like that. Mm-hmm. Do you just feel like, just by nature of how many back-to-backs you all might have, you're going to play maybe less than you have in the past?
Yeah, probably. I think, when you have your other goalies, Casey DeSmith, it's pretty great situation. He's one of the best goalies in the league last year, so he deserves to play a lot. And I think both of us are just focused on trying to be fresh. I think it's a huge luxury to have when hopefully the coaches feel like they can go to either of us and get a great game out of both of us. So like you said with the Olympics, obviously hope I can be a part of that team, and that would mean no break the whole season for me. So got to play the long game as well, and I want to be playing my best hockey come April and May.
We talked a lot about the mental side of the game, golf, we've compared it all. Mm-hmm. How much did the adversity at the end of last season affect you, and did you, as you go through the summer, do you use your brain to help balance it all out and see where you are?
Yeah, I think obviously, tough situation to go through, and lucky for me, I have best support system in the world around me. My wife, family, friends, teammates. Just the response I got from the people that care about me is, I felt like the luckiest guy in the world to have those people around me. And when you got a lot of people around you that don't care about wins or losses, they care about you as a human being, it's a lot easier to be in this position. So I just feel like in the long run, I feel like I'm going to look back on it as something that helped me, and when we do win it all, it's going to be look back and laugh and feel like that was something I had to go through in order to get to the end.
Did that make the sting of missing, not getting the cup even harder, the personal part of it for you, or was it all kind of the same?
All the same, I'd say. Yeah, I think it was a little more blown out of proportion than it actually was. I think stuff happens. Emotions run high, and people say and do things on a whim that maybe they look back and regret. I've done that in my life. I'm sure everyone here's done that. So sometimes you say stuff you don't really mean because you're emotional, and that's how it goes sometimes. So you learn from it, and that's what I did.
Have you seen Pete's comments where he said he regretted, maybe the comments he made after the game? Do you have any thoughts on what he said?
Yeah, someone told me that at the media thing. I think he hit the nail on the head with what he said. So just leave it at that.
With Team USA, you talked about wanting to make the team.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of conversation was had with the way Hellebuck played in the playoffs, the way you were playing in that playoffs, especially in that series with you two. Has Team USA given you any indication of what they need to see for them to make that decision come?
Nothing at all, which is great, right? No, I think just I'm just trying to play well, make the team, and then hopefully get a start. And then if I get a start, make it impossible for them to not want to put me back in there. That's kind of what I'm focused on. That's the tough part, is there's only one net, so I can't be on the third line and heli on the second and sway on the fourth. Like it's not how it goes. So there's only one net. Every goalie. I mean, there's more goalies than just us three as well that are great and deserve to get a look for this team. And I think everyone that is vying for that spot is just trying to get off to a great start and make the team, and then hopefully, I get my name called and play great when I get the chance.
Is that just added motivation for the regular season, I guess, just another layer?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you always are trying to play great, but when, like the coolest possible hockey experience ever is, on the horizon, it's hard not to look at that and, want to do even more and be at your best even more than you already normally do as a competitor. So, just the fact that I'm even like in that conversation is pretty surreal. So hopefully he can play great and get a spot on that team.
What have you seen from Mikko in the time you saw him as far as leadership and work ethic and all that?
Yeah, I mean, like from the time he came here, like felt like he'd been on our team for a long time. Like he just has the presence about him. I mean, obviously he's huge, so you're kind of scared when you're walking around him. Like he's just a big presence. But I think, and part of the reason that he's such a big part of that Avs team is just his personality, and like he's not a guy that goes on his own and kind of hides in a corner. Like he's in the mix with the guys. I mean, he wants to hang out outside the rink. He wants to be a part of all that extra stuff, which I mean that's what we need on this team is guys that want to do like the extra stuff away from the rink, get the group together. I think the teams that win are the ones that are like so close, and a lot of that bonding is done away from the rink. So to have a guy like that, especially he's not American or Canadian, so it's even more of a hurdle. But the fact that he puts an emphasis on that is what we'd like to see.
Looks like he made such an impact in the short time last year. Just knowing he's here and going to be here for a while, how much difference does that make? Yeah,
it's great. I think that just is part of the reason that he's so invested. I think he knows that this is home for him now, and he's already won it all, so he wants to do that again here with this group. So as a guy that's been there, done that, it's we look to him to what do you see? What do we need to do? What are we not doing that Colorado did when they won? So to have a guy like that that's been there, done that is great for all of us, and definitely going to be leaning on him.
So I know you said before that you'd play every game if you could, more or less. But what did you learn last season from the compressed schedule and formations and everything about recovery and being at your best that you use this year in similar to?
Yeah, totally. I think it's crazy how important that is. I mean, I think like I said earlier with having Case, like a guy that's as good as he is, there's times where in my career I felt like I've played where I probably shouldn't have played, and just now we don't have to do that. The luxury of having two guys that can give you great games any night is, I mean, for me it's like a dream. I mean, so I can just focus on what I need to do to feel my best, and I know that I'm not going to be getting killed, and I think just with the training staff we have now, I mean, Mike Donahue, one of the best strength and conditioning coaches in the entire world, I think, and what he has us doing on a daily basis, knowing when to hit the gas and knowing when we need to just chill is such a big part of it. And I think it's like a collective group that makes those decisions. And as a player, like when you have people that are looking out for you like long term and want you to be fresh, that's what you want, instead of just go and then by the end of the season you're like burnt out. So we're trying to win the Stanley Cup here, and we need to be fresh in order to do that, and they're all bought into kind of that process.
Was your summer different at all, knowing the schedule's coming up, or pretty similar to last?
Yeah, it was. I mean, compared to the summer I had before, it felt like I had like 2 summers because I didn't get married and go on honeymoon, so I actually got to be home and felt like I was just when you're in our kind of role, like when you look at your schedule in the summer and you have 3 weeks in a row where you're not committed to anything, it's like you tear up, you're so happy. So I had a lot of that this summer, and just a lot of family time, got to chill, and I feel like it's always a good sign. Towards the end of the summer I was dying to get back here. I was just so excited, and that's what you want. I mean, you don't want to be I gotta go start work again. I was chomping at the bit to get back here, see the guys, and I think that's when you kind of did it the right way in the summer.
During the playoffs, Mikko Rantanen was one of the hottest players in the NHL, and just his contributions. You've been on this team when they've made it to the Western Conference Finals. What truly is the difference about a presence like that, and just what he can add to the club?
Yeah, I think just not many guys can just be all right, I'm taking this game over, and he has that ability, obviously, against Colorado, that game he had, but just, every time he has a puck, it's like the other team's scared. I mean, I've played against guys like that where, you know, McKinnon gets the puck and you're like, here we go. Like, he's like one of those guys. So to have a guy like that on your side is like, I mean, you just never know like when he's just gonna be like, all right, I'm taking this game over. And not many guys can do that. And you know, it's still kind of like weird that he's on our team, just playing him so much and how good he is. So, you know, every time I see him, I walk into the rink, I'm like, this is cool. So.
Do you feel like when, you know, he's kind of getting a hat trick in a period, like, is his success, is that contagious, and does that kind of jolt you guys into maybe reaching a new level that you couldn't get there before?
For sure, yeah. I think like when you're around like greatness, you want to elevate yourself. I mean, that's like my whole career, like the best guys, the older guys that I look up to. I mean, you want to elevate yourself to that level. Like, you know, if I'm walking out of here and I'm, you know, 22 years old and I look over and Jamie Benn's still riding the bike and I got my lunch, I'm leaving the rink, I'm like, what am I doing? So it's like we have a lot of guys here that, you know, take pride in trying to be the best in the world at what they do, and that just makes everyone around him better, and he's one of the guys that kind of leads the charge in that.